Okay, so I'm starting with a sketch I did of my face. Since it's a self-portrait, I trace that on tracing paper so that there's more transparency going on through the lines. And I grab a Bristol board paper that I use a light table that I have, and I trace it with color pencils using the colors that correspond to each area. I'll get into a second about that. I want to first cover, I'm using Prismacolor Pencils. I have a 120 pack that I bought many years ago, and those are the colors I'm using for this. The reason why I traced everything twice, one, the Bristol paper is a little thick, so using a tracing paper underneath allows for the color to show through a lot better through the light table, and I use the color pencils to trace it around and have all the line work done, so that when I'm coloring it in, I don't have to worry about the graphite from the pencil lines bleeding through the colors or getting the colors a little muddy, or just graphite just gets everywhere when you start doing a piece. So I wanted to make sure that the piece was very clear and crisply done with color pencils, and that's why I do that 3-step process to get to this step that we're coloring right now. Now, if you watch my video that I posted a couple of weeks back, I am going over my portfolio that I found from college, and I contained a lot of my college and high school pieces in it, and I found, I believe it was 4 different self-portraits that I had to do. The last one being done in college, done with color pencils, and I also used Prismacolor pencils for that. So I kind of wanted to sharpen up my skill set with color pencils, which I don't use very often because they're so time consuming. So I decided to do another self-portrait. So when I mean time consuming, this piece right here took me 11 hours. And that's a long time for me. If I was a full-time artist, that is one thing, that's a day and a half or 2 days or so. I'm not a full-time artist, so that's a long time to dedicate to one project, but I was pretty happy just slowing down and doing that for this project. One of the things you will notice on this piece, I went very drastic with the lighting and the coloration of the piece. What I did was I had some lights. I had a black light that I used on my right side, which is the left side of the drawing that you see on the video, and I had a white light on the opposite side, which I used. It has that orange, pink, red glow to it because I draped a red fabric that I have on top of it to get that effect. Not the safest thing to do, but I just took a couple of pictures real quick, and this was my favorite, so this is the one I went with. And I also had another white light that was just kind of like a field light. So you'll see it gave me a lot of colors and different variations of tones and shading to work with, which normally with skin tones you kind of have a very monotone look when you do a portrait that's just skin. I was very happy with the way the photograph came out, and then once I started doing the actual drawing, I noticed how challenging it was going to be to go from very bright full color tones to some of the most muted skin tones that you possibly could work with that came from that black light shining on me. So it was very challenging. I feel like I learned a lot. I had to take my time with a lot of areas. I kind of broke it down piece by piece. I do want to point out that I'm using another tracing paper over the areas I already colored. This is helping me not mess those areas up. Now I'm left-handed, and I always tell myself I should start from the right side of the picture and work myself to the left, because that will keep my hand off of the parts that are already done, but I never do that. I always start on the left side. It's just, you know, we're used to writing from left to right, so that's just normal for me, I guess. So that's what I use. A lot of people get the half glove that you will use on a tablet or an iPad to draw. I don't like using those because they're fabric, and when you are using color pencils, Prismacolor pencils, any color pencils at all, and you're trying to go for a very vibrant, concentrated color, you get a lot of shavings off of the tips. So you have a lot of little shavings all throughout your piece, and what I like to do is I like to use a brush and kind of wipe them away. if you use some gloves or something like that, I found out that they tend to get trapped in the fabric, and as you're going back and forth, you're risk coloring something in with just some small shaving from the colors you've used previously. Now I do want to point out something that I learned that works the best is a brush to wipe away any extra pieces of the pencils that fall apart, because if you use your hand, you're using a flat surface and you're kind of trying to wisp it away, you might push it too hard and it might color it on. So I use a brush, which I don't think you can really see on the video because it's so fast, because with the bristles, chances of you actually pushing hard enough to color the paper with those pieces are very minimal. And I also, whenever I swept away any extra shavings, I guess you would call them, I usually just sweep them away with the brush towards the area that's already colored, because if it's just a white paper, it tends to most likely get color versus an area that's already covered. So I got most of it down. I left the hair out because it's the area that is more delicate around the background. So I want to do that last because it's easier for me to color over the background with black hair than it is for me to color a lighter tone in the black. Now the background, that was a pain. The background itself, from the 11 hours, that was roughly about 2 of the hours were spent on the background. And I thought about doing a black background. I thought of different things for the background, but I kind of went something that was very reminiscent of the actual photograph that I took, because I felt like it made sense. It will make the colors on the skin tone make sense if the background's similarly colored to what the original picture looked like. So yeah, that was a pain. That was a lot of sharpening to get those colors down. That was a lot of pencil tips that broke because I was trying to get large areas covered with the same color. But yeah, I'm pretty happy how the background came out overall. So some math that I did mention already that this piece took me 11 hours to do. The background was roughly about 2 hours of that. I did the math, so every square inch took me about 4 minutes and 17 seconds to cover up with the color. Obviously, the more detailed areas took longer, but you know, overall. So here's the hair. I did the highlights first, and then I blended them out, and then I went back with an almost black, I believe it's called black cherry color, and I filled that in, and then I went back and added detail with the actual black color pencil. The reason being is if I just try to do the detail with the black, it will just leave some white behind. I didn't want to have that. So here is the end of it. So here's the one from high school. I dug that one out, and this is what it looked like. And here is the one I did roughly 14 years later. Obviously, 2 different art pieces, 2 different skill sets overall. I'm pretty happy with it, and I made it, I kind of put it on the paper a specific way. I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be very up close or very pulled back, so I made it so it could be 11 by 14 or 9 by 12. So I have this mat that I could kind of bring the picture in quite close and have it be more intimate, or I could have it be the whole piece and kind of keep it the way it is. So I'm still kind of debating. I'm not sure. So if you have a preference, let me know. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go. I want to show you all the colors that I used for this piece, which were a lot of them, especially trying to graduate from, you know, some orange tone down to some purples to, you know, grays to brown. So these are all the pencils I used in this project. Again, they were all color pencils by Prismacolor, and they are my favorite. So let me know down below what you thought about the drawing, what you thought about me spending 11 hours looking at my face, and how you think it all came out. I don't think I'll do something like this again in a while, just because of the time it takes, and I'm trying to do weekly videos, so spending 11 hours to then edit, it's a long time. But this was pretty fun, and I really like the way it came out. Thank you, bye! Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like it, leave a comment below, and for more art related videos, go to my channel and subscribe.